Your drink, sir. Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. What a nice guy. Welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name's Mark, and we're going to start this video off in the garden. Tara's out here just getting some things prepped, and I thought I'd show you that first. It's probably a little bit whiter than most of your gardens with all this snow going on. If you haven't seen our garden, we built these trusses last year and used straw bale as a medium. We didn't find it work as well as soil, so we're starting to transition with some soil boxes. So this again is a steel structure we built, except we put poly over it, and we've got little magnets here. You can see that humidity that's on there. And Tara's just kind of getting ready for the growing season.
Growing season.
Yeah, so we've got this other fan here. The other fan we have is kind of at the back in there. It didn't work out as well. It's a little too large and
it's actually really warm in here.
Yeah, it is. It's,
so, like, I'd like to monitor what the temperature is like tonight.
Yeah, maybe we'll put some kind of gauge out here.
That's allium, so that'll all be ready for planting.
Mm-hmm. And that fan is going to go in the back, and it's going to be monitored with a
milkweed blew up.
Milkweed blew up with a thermostat. But
so,
no.
Yeah, let them dry over the winter.
So the milkweed that we
So
have.
now I'll have to package that up, and so you let them dry over the winter and freeze, and then they're ready to plant. So they're all blowing up. They're kind of cool when they blow up. So.
Yeah, so we're going to get things rolling in here, getting things ready. You want to get some soil as well, is that right?
Yeah, I want to make these so that they're actually a container, but with soil. Like, I'm going to fill this all with soil and stuff, so that it'll decompose all together.
Yeah, which is something we did outside.
Yeah, but these tomatoes that are here, like, they'll all grow. So get in there.
So we started last year growing seedlings inside, but we found that it worked much better just bringing them outside.
Yeah, just popping them in.
And just starting a little bit later, and they actually grow faster.
As long as what the temperature is like in here is not freezing, then all your cold weather crops and everything can go directly in here.
Yeah. So something else that happened this week on Tuesday, so walk us through that.
Oh, my little paper towel in
yeah.
my mug. So I got a call that sheep was in labor, baby was stuck, and vets don't know how long they can be, so she's just up the road. And so I went and tried to go, but my car wouldn't start. So paper towel. I called them and told them to pick me up, and I started walking, and then
she threw a paper towel underneath her
armpit.
Armpit.
That's the go-to for if anybody wants to send paper towel. That's what we need for kid goat season. So then it actually was the most stuck that I've ever seen. One of the babies. And it took a lot of maneuvering and trying to reposition to get the baby out. It was stuck like this, which is, so the head was out. I didn't think the baby was alive, but the baby was stuck like this. And so if I pushed it in, it was going like this, and then if you couldn't pull it out, so I had to maneuver one foot. It took, I don't even know how long it took. It felt like forever.
Well, you said you showed up and everybody had on their blue nitrile gloves.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You want a pair?"
Nope.
Nope, just get in there.
Get in there. Anyways, baby was born alive, and vet came later that day just to do a once-over, because you can tear inside. Just to give both mom and baby a once-over, because it was so stuck. I told her to call the vet. Anyways, the vet said, no, everything's good, no tearing, which is awesome, and they're doing good.
So I don't have video, well, much video or photos, just that were taken on site of the little lamb. The pictures are a little bit blurry, but you can kind of get the idea. Now, there has been a new camera that was released. I just bought a new camera that I'm vlogging with now, but there's actually a new one that was released by Insta360. It's the Go 2. And it is actually a small little camera that you put on a pendant, and then it magnetizes to your chest so that you can kind of go hands-free. So Tara is not one to grab the camera and go and do things. So I said, well, maybe we should get one of those. And then when you head out and like activities like that, or even when the kid goats are born here in the next few weeks, you can snap that little camera on and hit record, and then at least I'll have some footage to share with you all. So that one is on order, so we'll see how that goes. And just because I'd like to see what happens too. If I'm at work, I work during the day, during the week, and I'm not always here to capture these moments. So that's something that we'll look at. Last night, we had a young family come, and they were interested in Poopitz, our little orphaned rabbit. So Poopitz did actually go to her new home yesterday. They do have some other animals. I believe their daughter's 8 years old, and she is actually really tame. She's litter trained. So she has now moved out of our bathroom and has started her new life there. Of course, if there's any problems with animals that do leave our farm, we encourage people to bring the animals back if it's not a fit. But I think this is going to be a good fit for her. Something else that we got in, oh, Blackie loves carrots, are grains. Now, we often use grains and we get them donated to us from various different places. Now we got about 6,000 pounds of, here, let's just throw these carrots out here. Turbo, don't be a cameraman. We got about 6,000 pounds of oats, husked oats, delivered to us. And we got a call last week saying that yeah, it's all gone, guys. That there was some food grain oats that had been delivered into their warehouse, and there was a mouse that was found in the top of the large bag of grain, actually in both bags. Look at you guys. Food talks, doesn't it? So they said, of course they can't use them for food consumption. So what they did is they called us up and said, we have this here, can you use it? Apparently they throw out a lot of grains. So this is a great connection to have because we use oats, barley, wheat, lentils, peas, flaxseed, canola seed, all that stuff for our animals. We don't use as much oats. We do use the oats as a bartering tool for our farrier. So we actually pay our farrier in grains, which works out really well because it's something that we have, it's something that she needs for her animals, and it works out well. Turbo, you're not a good cameraman, buddy. Turbo. Oh, Turbo, what are you doing? You're not a good camera sheep. Oh boy. So it is warming up outside. Everybody is enjoying the warm weather. We've got the ducks all out. I don't think there's any more in their building. And we've got the guineas that are in this enclosure here. So this is something that Tara's been talking about the last 24, 48 hours is how we're gonna rework all this. So we've got some ideas. So once it warms up and everything kind of dries out, then we will start to focus on that. Fernando, how you doing, buddy? You're outside. There is not a lot of water this year. We didn't get a whole lot of snow. And usually what happens is the water comes in from the back, comes through a conduit into this pond area, and then as it fills up, it goes over into here as an overflow and then travels out down the trench to the front ditch. Now this is a swale here that does kind of fill up as well, so that the animals can kind of hang out, and the ducks and anybody who likes to only wade and not go swimming then just goes into here. The pigs mainly, as you can see, Piper and Petey over here just kind of digging things up. So there they are. The ducks, geese are out. They're waiting for the pond. We've got a pump that you can see the hose that kind of comes out of here. And then the hose goes around. The pump is, of course, out of the pond. But we want to get that pump in to pump the water and get this going as soon as we can. So we'll see how things work out in the coming weeks. And speaking of the coming weeks, so we've got our mama goats that are expecting. The two up there on the tire is Petunia and then Billie Jean on the other side. And then we've got Holly here. Hi, Holly. And then we've got Charlotte over here. And where is, well, the other ones must have gone inside. Blackie and Coco. I guess they figured there's no more treats. There's Blackie there. You figure there's no more treats. There's no more carrots. And then Coco is over here. Hi, Coco. No, getting a feed on. Hi, Coco. Hi. I think you missed the treats. So within the next 2 weeks, I guess, we're going to be switching things around. Hopefully the weather permits for this action. We want to move the girls inside, the mamas, and we want to move Sheldon, Onyx, Moira outside. We want to move them around. We've also got a male rabbit inside named Mitty, or Mr. Midnight, and he is likely going to go into a different area. Possibly, we do have the nursery area over here. So this is the main pen where Onyx, Moira, and Sheldon are. It's also the area last year where we had the mamas and baby goats. But this year is going to be different. There's an entrance that comes out here that it's a door that opens up. Because the ponies are not in this back area here, then we'll likely have the mama and their kid goats out in the general population. And this satellite dish cage here is for, you know, animals like Mitty, Mr. Midnight, can probably go in there or even into this area depending on if he tries to dig out around the sides. So we're going to be moving around all the animals. Fernando, you're right there. Are you waiting for people? So we are open to the public during the summer months. And Easter weekend is generally the time where we open up. We've actually gotten quite a few calls in the last couple weeks asking if we are open. There's going to be some changes, of course. Currently, you're allowed 10 people outside, of course, with social distancing, being of the same household, and a number of different criteria like that. March 25th is the next release of the next public health order, which I'm guessing will change from 10 people outside to 25 people outside, of course, with social distancing. So we're going to have to watch and see how that goes in the coming weeks as well. So if you're following us on Facebook or Instagram, you have seen last week we did kind of a cat week. So we took some pictures of our 6 cats inside the house, and we published one a day with their stories. And we thought this was such a great idea. I think it was Boldly Grow. You had mentioned that you're really digging this cat week thing. So I thought, yeah, no, this is a good idea. So let's do this with all the animals. So I've gone through and taken a bunch of pictures from the past and current and have put them together. And next week is going to be Sheep Week. So we'll publish their story on each sheep every day. So check us out if you're not following us or liking our page or however that works, or both. Apparently you can do both, like it and follow it. Then head on over there and check that out. So of course with the sheep we've got Canadian Arcot sheep, which is Daisy, Turbo, Tulip, George. Hey, George. And Tinker. Tinker, I found you this time. The last few videos, she just doesn't want to be recorded. So they are, oh, you guys, that's cute. So they are Canadian Arcot sheep. Now, going into the barn, we have in the back area, we've got Moira and Onyx. Now, Moira is a Shetland sheep breed, so she's quite a bit smaller and itchier. Are you scratching? And then we have Onyx, which, if I recall correctly, is a Welsh black mountain sheep. I'll correct that down at the bottom of the screen if I'm wrong. Hey? And she came in last year. Yeah, abandoned, found on the side of the road by a local. And she wasn't doing too well right in the beginning. She was suffering from probably a little bit of a hypothermia and malnutrition. Oh, Moira, is it time to get rid of that coat so you can scratch? Oh, girl. We do have a brush over here as a scratching post, but when you have that much wool, it doesn't really work. So speaking of wool and shearing the sheep, that will likely take place in June. We wait until it warms up because the nights in May can still get pretty cool. So we will do that shearing again, and then of course Moira can scratch that itch a little better. And that brings us to Sheldon. Yes. So we have put Sheldon in with Moira and Onyx for a short time. He is a little aggressive when he plays, aren't you, buddy? He is not intact, but he still has that boyish charm, don't you? So they are fine when they're outside. When they're in that front run area, we have Sheldon, we have Onyx, and we have Moira. But of course, it's a lot larger of a space. So it works out a lot better. They can kind of get away from this little boy if need be, or they can play with him. Right, buddy? Yes. Are you excited to get outside? So these are the pens here that we, yeah? You're funny. These are the pens that we will be putting the mamas in. So we've got this pen here, and we do have cameras that monitor these areas here. We've got another camera here. So we've got cameras covering all the pens, so this will be another one. We may close it off, but I think we're just gonna leave it open. You're still going, girl. Because we've had up to 3 mamas in this pen. And we picked the ones that are higher on the alpha chain because they get along better. You don't want to put someone who's low on that chain with an alpha because then it's not good for the beta, or however you want to call it, the sheep lower on that level. So here is the chicken coop, which is now empty. So we've got all of the birds outside. We've transferred over some other. What is it, Billy? Do you want to attack? He has become a little more aggressive. I guess it is breeding season, maybe. So we have the guineas and we have the chickens in this area here. Of course, the Muscovies were over in that area, which is now kind of abandoned. And then we have, so here's Mitty, Mr. Midnight. Hi, bud. You come to see me? Yes. So this one was actually found by a neighbor. And when I say a country neighbor, I mean somebody within a few miles of us. And he is very friendly. So he was actually in pretty rough shape, very skinny when he was brought in, but he's plumped up nicely and he is extremely friendly. So it's almost like he was somebody's pet. And then we have the one Muscovy duck that was injured. She's looking much better. I figured we'd just keep her in isolation, and it gives our little Scooby a little friend to hang out with. So that works out. Here, Coco, don't tell anybody. Yeah. Oh, I think we have to pay off Tinker. Okay, there we go. Oh, there you go, one fell. Okay, you're a sloppy eater, Dinker. All right. Come on in, guys. Yeah. Well, I don't know why you're coming in. I'm going out. Did you hear my voice? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going out. Yeah. Back up. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, what a beautiful day. Spring is finally on the horizon. Right, Charlotte? All right. So coming into the duck area here. So we have this door that's closed, so that goes into this area here where the chickens and the guineas and pigeons are. And then we've got all of our Muscovies and roosters and crosses. Where are the crosses? There's a Muscovy, there's a cross, there's a bunch over there. There's some rowan. There's a rowan female over there. So they're making their way. That is a classic. When you think of a duck, you probably think of that color right there, which is a rowan drake or male with his bright coloring. And who else has bright coloring? All right, so yeah, with rabbits, we've got a few rabbits in here. There are 3, I think. Somebody else, I think, was coming to get a couple chickens and 1 rooster. So there is our rabbit pen. We want to clean this up and, of course, change things around in this area as well. And then this is one of our drake males, Muscovies, and one of the females. So that's all that's inside here. What are you doing, buddy? I was wondering where you were. What is it? You want me to say hi? That is Hi, one of the 2 Hi guys. So Guys passed away last year, early last year, I think it was. And he is very similar to Phil, which Phil looks like he's right there in the shadow underneath. So very, very affectionate, which male Drake Muscovies can be. Oh, and how are the equine doing? Oh, right, and the boys. I almost forgot about you guys. So we have been watching them. Now we do actually have another camera out here. So we've got cameras all around just to try to make sure that everybody is good, especially when we put these 2 boys up front here, because we wanted to make sure that they weren't going to try to get into the back again and escape the electric fencing. But they haven't, so that's good. Daisy, Levi, and Meadow. Hi, Meadow. How you doing, girl? You each have your own piles. This is a good way to keep the peace when you're feeding animals. There's no point in putting the food too close together. So she's got her little pile, and Levi his, and Daisy hers. And that leaves the feed trough, which a little bit of hay in there for the boys. And then there is another pile over here, a free pile. So this is what male goats do. And what I do when I go back in is I'm going to throw these in the laundry. They transfer their scent over onto items to call them their own, I guess you could say, right? Take possession. Hey, bud, you're not in a playful mood, though. Come on. Ugh, not like your dad. Oh, but you do have a good stance, don't you? There it is. There it is. They do have a lot of respect for us, which raising them up and interacting. Are you sniffing my butt? I thought dogs just did that. So they'll never actually hit us. They will hit each other, but they just get up and, what are you doing? That's not your species. It is a female, but, right? Are you gonna fight? Are ya? You're missing horns. He's been breaking his horn. They used to go way up, right? But when last year, this last little piece came off, because of course we put them in with the girls and they got all excited, and the two boys were in there, and I guess they had to show off and show who was boss. And it's like, oh, look at me, I can hit this tree and break my horn. Not the brightest, are you, bud? No, not the brightest. You know, this happens every year. So this is the front picnic area. And this is the barn over here. And of course the equine, Billy and Carl, are over there. And we always get some rogue ducks that decide, oh, we want to hang out up front. We don't like it with those other animals. These are two female Muscovies. And they're hanging out up here. Tara, sometimes, I don't know if you can see, but there's some grains that are down around, so they do eat those grains. And they just like to be a little bit of a loner. Muscovy ducks don't really bathe too much in the water like you would see rowan ducks or mallards or pekin ducks or any of the other ones. They are not so drawn to water as those breeds. But it was funny because they walk around. Usually they'll walk around the back and we'll see them. They'll go back and around, they'll duck underneath the electric fence and walk down the driveway, play in the water on the driveway. But I'm suspecting that these ones here probably came back through the electric fence on the other side of the building there, which is something we're going to be changing and making some solid fencing moving forward. So these are just some of the grains that we have. They are in bags, so a lot of these get donated to us, which is great. So great to keep an eye out for things like that. Living in the prairies is, it's readily available, and you can go to silos, and they've usually got spillage that comes off when they're loading trailers or tractors or train cars. But here there is, this looks like some of the wheat that just came in, and then we've got barley and lentils and peas. And oats, wheat, canola seed, and flax seed. Those ones are usually not in the larger bags. We don't get as much of those. But that is some of the stored items. We're waiting for possibly some silos to come in. And then we've made these little tables here in our barn where we have the 45. Whoops. we have the 45-gallon containers here, so we can scoop them out as needed. And then we've got another table over in this area here. So that is kind of our grain setup. Now the overflow is, of course, since we got the 6,000 pounds of grain in, here's some more bags here. These bags we save, they're great. So when we run out of 45-gallon containers, here is the wheat as well here, so you can see that. And usually the wheat we get is husked, so it has that husk on it. But this is actually processed and clean, food grade. But of course, since there was a mouse caught in it or found in it, then it couldn't be used for food. So we just scooped off the top layer that you could see the mouse was. There was some mouse poop and it was kind of shredded grains. We scooped that off and we're just going to use that as bird feed. And the rest of it is nice and clean. Good stuff. So with the grains in there, there are some other farms and rescues around in the area. So we do offer them grains as well, kind of share the wealth, help out, especially in times like this when people aren't visiting these farms, and sometimes that's kind of a source of revenue, visits and events and functions and dinners and all these kind of things. So it can be a little tough on people doing rescuing. We have diversified enough, and we've been doing this for 2 decades now. So we've found our little groove, I guess you could say. You want to make sure in our barn down there we have enough hay. Going into the fall, we have enough hay for 2 years, just to make sure if anything happens, like a pandemic or something, that we have enough food. And then of course the grain in there. We've also bartered with somebody about some grain bins, some large 15-foot grain bins. So that is something else that may be coming this spring once, I guess, the frost gets out of the ground. So we'll see how that works. And then we'll be able to transfer those grains into the silos and work better that way and free up some space. So the cats inside are doing great. Tyr in the basement is still very shy. He's going to remain in the downstairs bathroom in his little pad for a while now. We just want to make sure that, you know, he gets to know us a little bit more. And then what we'll do is we'll release him out with the general population. And it is likely that Tyr will stay downstairs because, of course, we have 3 dogs. Atlas stays outside, he's a Bernese, but we have our 2 Westies that are inside. So Tyr will likely not get along well as soon as he sees those West Highland White Terriers. So he will probably be downstairs. We've got a litter box downstairs. We'll likely leave the door open to the bathroom and his litter box in there so he knows what's going on. But that'll be coming in the next few weeks as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from it. Hope you found it educational. And I hope that you subscribe to the channel, and if you didn't ring that bell for notifications, you can also do that, notified when we release our videos. So until next video, I hope you all have a wonderful week. If you want to check out last week's video, you can click up here, and for something else, click over on this one here. Subscribe down at the bottom, and we will see you next time. Take care and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.